Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of College for YouTube. Resident underslash of underslash College for BitChute. And I'm here to do a Barnabas Collins retrospective. I'm here to do a couple retrospectives, actually. This one was brought about by 3 Twitter followers who I love. At Fred Barnabas, at Return of Shadows, and at Dark Shadows Twitter. Shout out to you 3 gentlemen. I love Dark Shadows fans, man. I'm a fan of Dark Shadows myself. So, and obviously I have this channel, so why not come on and talk about it, right? Who was Barnabas Collins? I think that's the first step to take. For those who don't know, Barnabas Collins was the son of Joshua Collins and Naomi Collins. Naomi and Joshua Collins' marriage was arranged. And here's the thing of this. Did Joshua love Naomi? I think so, but Joshua Collins was a very tough man. Barnabas had a sister named Sarah. I wanted to touch upon Sarah before I talked about Joshua. Joshua raised his... It wasn't just how Joshua raised his son. Joshua treated everybody one way, like a child. Everybody was beneath Joshua. And that's no exaggeration. Louis Edmonds' portrayal of Joshua is golden. You want to look at somebody who should have won an Emmy? That dude should have won an Emmy for his portrayal of Joshua Collins. But there were no daytime Emmys back then. So, or sorry, primetime, wasn't it? I forget which one. But so don't mind me. Whichever one it was, they needed to give that dude an Emmys, especially for Joshua. So, Barnabas grew up in a different time, and back then, you were expected to be an adult by maybe age 13 or 14. Think about what adulthood is now, and throw that shit out the window because back then, they didn't make you weren't waiting until 18 to become a man. God damn it, when you were age 12, 13, or even 14, your ass was becoming a man then. Hell, most kids that age, like 13 or 14, they would have enlisted in the war. Serious. That's how crazy that shit is. So, how old was Barnabas when he became a vampire? I'm going to get into that. Now, who was Barnabas as a person? Barnabas was a very kind, gentle person, but he did stick up for his friends, and he did believe in right and wrong. He did believe in good and evil. And that shows in the 1795 storyline. Now, did Barnabas know Angelique was a witch? No. Did they have a relationship? I want to stress something. When I get ready to say this, when I mean did they, I'm meaning Barnabas and Angelique. I'm not meaning Jonathan Frid or Laura Parker. I'm meaning the characters of Barnabas and Angelique. Fictional characters. I think I confuse people sometimes when I say Barnabas and Angelique had a relationship. I'm meaning the characters. The fictional characters. Barnabas and Angelique did have sex. They did have a relationship. Because you can tell that by the way their chemistry is. By their body language just screams they did stuff. And does that make Barnabas a pimp? No. Or a player? No. He was a young man. He was a lot younger man when he met Angelique. So, at least in my mind, he was. And here's what I'll say. He wasn't in love with Angelique. That was just a fling they had. He was in love with Josette, however. You can get into that debate if they ever had sex prior to him being cursed. You want to start that debate? You go right ahead. They probably did, I'm sure, but now, how old was Barnabas when he became a vampire? This question here, this sort of thing here, is strictly so hard to do because Barnabas would, from my opinion, would have to be at least 30 years old, or at least in his late 20s when he met Josette. So to me, he's at least 30 or 31 when he becomes a vampire. So when he gets out of his coffin in 1967, he's almost 200 years old. And if still alive today, he would be well over 200 years old. So that's sort of the question they inspired. How old is Barnabas? And the other things is, with the vampire legend guys, vampire legends we take from the legend itself. What is a vampire? A vampire is a supernatural creature who can control supernatural aspects. All creatures of the night, bats, dogs, wolves, it can turn into the mist. Was Barnabas Dracula? No. Barnabas was no Bela Lugosi character. Barnabas was not Dracula. Barnabas did not choose to become a vampire. Was Barnabas menacing? Yes, he was. He was somebody who you did not mess with. And look, would I put Barnabas Collins as a protagonist or an antagonist? Barnabas is one of those characters who you cannot define for one side or the other. Barnabas could be both sides of the coin at any given moment or any given time he damn well wanted to, especially after he became a vampire. I can't list him as an antagonist, but I can't turn around and list him as a protagonist either. He's neither nor. He's the biggest neutral character until he chooses to do something which sets him down whatever course he takes. And that's the damnedest sin about the character most of all, in my opinion. You want to look at a character who really defines, when you watch him, frustrating, and I don't mean in a bad way, I mean in a good way. Frustrating that it's like, man, this character has so much confliction, but man, when push comes to shove, when this character gets messed with, he will literally make you pay for it. When you mess with his family, he'll make you pay. When you mess with a friend, he'll make you pay. Or when he just wants to flat out fucking kill your ass, you're dead. I love you, Jonathan Fred. I know you're long gone, dude. We love you. We love the character. I mean, you want to talk about just the dynamic of this character, really. Alive today, if Barnabas was in 2020, think of this. You have a pandemic out there. You have the internet. Barnabas would be thinking, would literally have so many roads to go down today. Literally. And you wouldn't know which one he was going to go down until he went down it, nope, you know what, I'm going to do this, and he would do it. There would be no talking about it. When Barnabas chose to do something, he damn well did it. I'm sure there's a lot I'm leaving on the table. I'm trying to think. I'm having a lot of fun. When I talk Dark Shadows, I think I have the most fun talking Dark Shadows. The one thing I'll say, though, with Barnabas is, before he became a vampire, was he totally good? Yes. Was he totally bad after he became a vampire? No. Again, he was neither good nor bad. Again, this is not a character I list as a protagonist or an antagonist. You can be a character who has traits of antagonistic or protagonistic. And you can play both sides of the fence, and that's what Fred did beautifully with this character. He literally could be either or at the snap of a finger. I've always made the case that Barnabas was never going to kill Maggie. And, a lot of the reason I say that is the way he talks to Josette's portrait. He doesn't... When he's talking to the portrait, he says, I was a Collins. Where were you when I was turned into something my own father loathed? And he says it not in anger, but in hurt. His feelings are hurt. He feels betrayed and alone. And right there is where I felt sorry for the character. People say, where did you first feel sorry for the character? Right there. Because I'm going, oh my God, yay. I mean, look, you knew Barnabas was a vampire when you first saw him. When you first lay eyes on Barnabas, you know what he is. There's no fooling the audience of what Barnabas is. But the label of vampire is just that. It's a label. It doesn't define who the man is. It just tells you what he's become. But it doesn't define who he is. Who he is his last name incarnate. He is a Collins, and he is very proud to be a Collins in the sense of he's somebody who was literally hurt by the woman who he was supposed to marry, hurt by the fact that she married another man but was put under a spell to do it. He was betrayed by his own cousin because he was also put under a spell. And the biggest betrayal of all is his own father, who, instead of killing him, chained him in a coffin for well over 200 years. And Barnabas Collins, coming out of the coffin, seeing a portrait of Josette, he's not angry. He's hurt. And when I see that, I never saw anything close. People want to say Fred was Bela Lugosi. Bull fucking shit. No, he was no Bela Lugosi. He was 10 times what Lugosi was, in my opinion, and he didn't try to be Bela Lugosi. When you go watch that scene, show me one time when Lugosi plays Dracula that he's that fucking emotional, I'll shake your goddamn hand. You can't, because he never is. Now, Fred, when he's that emotional, when he's being Barnabas in that moment, I'm going, dude, I feel for you. I would be Willie Loomis at that particular point. I'll help you, dude. That's how I felt when he said that. So, how old would Barnabas be now? Well, if Barnabas were around now, he would be well over 200 years old, guys. So, how old was Barnabas when he returned? 30, give or take. I'd say you could put him at 33 even if you wanted to. That's my opinion. I hope to hear from you guys. I'll tag all of you in this. You guys are awesome. I love talking to our chattos. I hope to hear from you. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.